Let's get into the advisory now. More Australians than ever seeking information on how to better manage their financial affairs. But how do you define financial advice? Ellie Fordham from Verse Wealth joins me. Great to have you on ausbiz, Ellie. How do you define financial advice?
It's a great question. And I think when I talk to friends and family members and other people that reach out for advice, they often associate advice with investing or stock picking. And the reality is it's so much more than that. Really what financial advice is, and it's been an evolution, is to ensure that those that are coming to seek out advice really are aligning their finances, their strategy to help them achieve the things that are important to them to live the life that they want. And investing is just a very small part of that. It's the coaching, it's the strategy to help them achieve those things that they're looking to do.
How do you see financial advice as having evolved over time, particularly when very few Australians actually get financial advice?
Well, I have been fortunate enough to be in the industry for 18 years, which is a small amount of time relative to some, but I think still long enough. And I've seen it evolve quite a lot over that time. If I reflect on, when I first started in the industry, a lot of the conversations that we were having with clients was around investing. It was around showing them that the value add of advice at that point in time was around performance, and that I started my career in the global financial crisis or just before it, so that was very interesting. But I think if we think, taking a step back to financial advice, it evolved through insurance sales door to door, and then it evolved into becoming more of an investment focus. We've seen superannuation as an industry evolve significantly over time, about $3.9 trillion of assets across the country. So it's meant now that financial advice has to have that more broader, holistic focus. It can't just be about sales, and it can't be just about products or investing or those sorts of things. It now needs to be broader than that. And we've also seen many legislation changes over that period of time. It's meant different kinds of education standards and professional codes of conduct, which I think has meant that advice has really evolved into a holistic and professional industry. And the clients that we're now meeting, I think, are looking for those sort of services.
How do you integrate, working with other professionals as well into your clients' outcomes?
Well, we are probably a little bit like a personal CFO for some of our clients, where we're chatting to their accountant about the different entity structures or businesses that they're operating, and that the more day-to-day tax involvements with those sort of professionals. So we need to have a really good understanding of what's happening in those sorts of areas of their financial life to make sure our advice is accurate. We have to have a really good relationship. So I think the role of a financial advisor and the personal CFO will often mean that, we're chatting to accountants, we're chatting to mortgage brokers, we're chatting to property specialists and insurance specialists to make sure that there is a holistic strategy in place, that we're helping to give them that guidance and that strategy to navigate all of those professionals in their financial life, but have that broader overall strategy to make sure that it's the right one for the client.
What do you value most, Ellie, when it comes to financial advice and what you're sort of giving in terms of this advice to your clients?
I think for me, the reason I get out of bed every day to do this is to see clients achieve the things that are important to them. It's not often that you get a kick out of having fantastic performance. That's certainly been the case of late, and it's great, but it's more meaningful. And I think for clients, the value of advice is much more meaningful when they can tell you that they've made a great decision around buying a property, or they're working less, or they're spending more time with their kids, or they've retired. That is the value of financial advice. And while the performance and the strategy is a big part of that, so too is the coaching, the mentorship that you provide them over time to know that they've got the control, the confidence, and the peace of mind to make great decisions. That's ultimately what financial advice is all about. And I think many, many studies have shown that over time. So that's, for me, what I think is the value.
So for anybody that is still hesitant about seeking financial advice, especially sometimes given the cost, what would you tell them in terms of what the outcomes are from speaking to a professional?
Well, it's a great question, because we get asked this one all the time, and there's definitely lots of tangible benefits of financial advice, whether it's tax savings and performance on their investments and having the right strategy in place. But there's so many more non-tangible benefits to it, and I think once you actually start to experience advice, or you're speaking to other people who have received financial advice, then you can start to understand some of those benefits. And as I mentioned before, a lot of those studies do continuously show over time that the outcomes that clients receive are having better clarity, making better decisions, having more control of their finances, being on the path that they want to do the things that are important to them, which is a real evolution, I think, to when I first started in advice, and what the decisions and the framework and the value provided was.